really want to start with this this dish that I'm going to make. I'm going to make for you today a lovely korma. It's a beautiful recipe, and I really would implore you to have a go at this, whether you're a professional caterer or not. So let me get my cooker on, and then I'll talk about what some of the things that that V for Life does, and how we can help you to provide great catering services for older people. So bear with me 1 minute while I pop my little cooker on. It's going to beep a couple of times. Let's get that to a nice temperature. Lovely, right, brilliant. So I'm going to make a quick korma. It should take about 25 minutes thereabouts from start to finish, or thereabouts. So got all my ingredients prepared, and this is part of the planning. Planning is so important in catering. It can't be overstated how important planning is. I'm going to put my onions in, just finely chopped onions into the pan to let those cook. Now then, planning. Why plan? Why would you want to plan? I mean, if you're in catering, you have to plan. You can't get away from planning. Planning makes great economic sense. You know, if you're working in a restaurant or a care home, you may have, as tends to have, a higher turnover of staff. So you need to get everything planned in advance. So that temporary staff that come in, they can pick up the reins really quickly and just run with it economically. It makes a lot of sense. But also for the people that you care for, that they know what it is that you're going to be making for them, and they can choose in advance, you know, which dishes they're going to have, and then you can get the stock in and you can order it order it. You also may want to think about planning in terms of seasonal. So you think about the seasons. You also want to bring in aspects of culture into your planning. So think about, you know, Christmas times and birthdays and those sorts of important times during the year. And this is the key, and I think that this is where you should really focus on, particularly if you're catering for older people, as V for Life does. So V for Life provides support for older vegetarians and vegans. So those that are over 50. We do a lot of work with the chefs that work in care homes. But think about the nutrition, and this is the key element. I'm going to talk a little bit about nutrition in a moment, but I want to get focused on some of this dish here, just so we can get it finished within the short time that I've got with you today. So this is a lovely korma, beautiful korma, really nice recipe. I've got my onions in the pan here, just sizzling away. Now I really want to cook these for about 10 minutes. The longer you can cook the onions, the better. You'll get a lot more flavour from them. It'll add a bit more colour to your dish. It's really, really worth doing. If you undercook them, then it has a bit of a kind of like a burning sensation, which we don't want, a raw sensation with this, which I really don't want. So the rest of the ingredients for the korma, well, a korma, you can put almost anything into it. It's a mildly spicy curry. That's kind of what it is, creamy with some aspects. So for this one today, I have got some sweet potatoes, which are brilliant, nice and easy and fast to cook, readily available. I've got some red peppers here for colour. I've got cauliflower, again, cooked quickly. Chickpeas, great source of protein in there, which I'm talk a little bit about nutrition in a moment. And some peas. Now peas, you really can't undervalue, should I say, that the value of having peas in dishes. Not only does it add sweetness and colour, but also a nice amount of protein in there as well. So it's really useful to have into lots of different dishes. Also got some cashew nuts. I forgot what they're called for a moment. Cashew nuts, which I've actually toasted lightly, and this will just bring a little bit more flavour out from them. So my onions are now starting to get a little bit golden and sort of brown a little bit. So I can start to put the rest of my ingredients in. So I'm going to start off with the spices. So here I've got some, and this is sort of quite mild spices the korma. I've got some coriander, I've got some cumin, I've got some turmeric, and I've got some paprika, so nothing too spicy. In we go with that, and that's going to just cook out with our garlic. Now, I've put quite a bit of garlic. I love garlic. So I think the recipe is like 2 cloves of garlic, but I kind of put 3 or 4 in there. Depends on the size of them. So in we go with that. Now, what I don't want to do is to burn these spices. So my pan is quite warm, so I don't want the spices to burn. So just add a splash of water on there, just to cool that down. And I really want to let these spices cook out before I put the rest of the ingredients in. But it really won't take that long to cook. And this can be served with all sorts of different accompaniments, the naan bread and rice. And I'm going to serve this one today with rice. But look at that wonderful colour. The turmeric, that beeping is just my little cooker here. The turmeric really coming out, really adding to the dish, and give it a nice rich colour, which is part of the presentation. It's part of the planning to make sure that all the food that you prepare really is just doesn't only taste great, but also looks great. So we can now start to put in all the other ingredients in there. So I've got some cauliflower. It'll go in, I think it will. I've got some sweet potato. I've got some cashew nuts, so it's a great source of protein, and also some red pepper. You can also different sorts of coloured peppers in there if you fancy, and chickpeas. Squeeze them out. There we go. And some peas as well, and I'll just cook down with my coconut milk. So the coconut milk is adding. So it's raising the fat content in this, adding to the calories of this dish. So if you want to reduce the calories, if that's an issue, then use a half-fat or lower-fat coconut milk, or just use half the tin of a full full-fat coconut milk. So in we go with that. But that really is absolutely crucial to pop in there. And of course, I've got some ginger. So of course, I've got some ginger, and I've also got coriander, and these are the little stems from the bottom. So they just need a little bit more cooking. In we go with that. Loads of colour. I mean, it doesn't that look great? And I've got some stock here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this to one side and let this bubble away and cook and do its own thing. So this would take about 20 minutes or so, which will bring us round to 1 o'clock. So I'm just going to whiz this on to my cooker over there, and I can stop that from beeping. And I've also got a little bit of coriander here, which I'm going to use as a garnish. We'll set that to one side. Put that over here. Now then, some of the services that Viva Alive provide, because we're here to support older vegetarians, as Tim said in the introduction. So we've got a number of services that you may be interested in as a caterer, or if you're looking after someone who's older, or if you're over 50. I'm saying older as in over 50. You may be interested as well. We have a nutritional guide. Now this is our nutritional guide. It's relatively new, and it's only £2 when you pay for it, but you can get it for free if you download it. And there's loads of great information in here on vegan nutrition. Now, if you're familiar with good balanced planning with your meals, then brilliant. But if you're not, you know, sort of step back a bit and give yourself a bit of time, do a little bit of homework, so that you can provide the people you care for with quality food, but also food that's nutritionally balanced. Now, this is approved by the British Dietetic Association, so sort of independently looked at, and it's got information on B12, calcium, all those kind of things that you would sort of the favourites, if you like. So B12, calcium, vitamin D, iodine, iron, omega-3, selenium and zinc. information on those in there, and great sources of where you can get them for. Now, it's also got information on fortification. So if you are catering for someone who's maybe their appetite is a little bit lower, so this is absolutely important to make sure that you do get all the nutrients that you need, and as an older person, a little bit more protein too. So do have a look at that. You can download it for free as a PDF on our website. So it's Be for Life, or you can buy it and it's just £2 when you do it. So the other thing I want to share with you is our little catering guide. I say little, it's more than little. It's 32 pages, and it's got lots and lots of information in here. It really is worth having a look at it, downloading it and reading through it. So we've got, this is aimed at people that work in care homes, retirement villages, or supported accommodation, but it may be useful for someone that is just looking after an older person, or if you're older yourself, you might find some tips in there, some information that's useful to make sure that you get a nice balanced diet, and some great recipes in there. And the recipe that I'm making today, the korma I'm pointing over there, it says in the way nicely, it is in here. So if you do want to follow the recipe from there, then you can have a look at that. Also useful if you work in a hospital as a caterer, or possibly in a hospice. So do have a look at that. Right, okay, so I don't want to advertise too much in this session. I want to do some cooking. So I will be talking about our online training. We've got a 2.5 hour training seminar, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment, so I'll come back to that. But I want to move on to these lovely little biscuits. Now these are brilliant, absolutely wonderful little biscuits, homemade biscuits that you may want to make, and they really are so easy. And you find this recipe on our website. So all I'm going to do is dust my work surface with a little bit of flour, and over here I've got the dough, and I've already made the dough, so I've got a short time today. And in fact, what you can do is freeze this dough. So often with products that are very light, they can get a bit crumbly and delicate, which, this certainly would be one of those, because it's a light biscuit. But what you can do is make up the dough in advance and then freeze it, and then just take out what you need as you go along. And this is a lemon shortbread biscuit, and you can make it with plain flour, or if you want to do a gluten-free version, it works really well with gluten-free flour too. So it's just margarine, flour, and some sugar, and then it's flavored with some lemon zest, and also some spices. And you can really play along with that and be adventurous with your spices. So I just want to roll this out and then cut this out, and then put this into the oven to bake. Now, little secret between you and me, I've already baked some yesterday, so we're not going to have to wait for these to cook in real time. But I just thought I'd show you how easy it is. And what's great about doing this sort of thing is that when you're planning your menus, and when you're trying to cater for someone individually, and that they're a unique person, this is the sort of thing that you can do. So I'm going to cut out a couple of lovely hearts like so. And then this will go onto our baking sheet. I can lift these up. There we go. And then these will go into the oven with a sprinkling of sugar on the top to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. Really worth doing these. Do recommend you having a go of these. So a little sprinkle of sugar on the top, and then those will go into the oven to bake for about 12 minutes. And when they come out, excuse me for turning my back, they will look something like, I can turn these without dropping them, they'll turn out something like that. Now, yesterday I was playing around with the icing, and this is the way you can really kind of tune in and make your dishes unique for the person that you're caring for. And I'll choose the best one. That's probably the best one. And I've done a little, you can see that I'll bring it through. Look at that. I love Veg Fest. Yeah, of course we do. Lovely, brilliant. And you get those little pipes and stuff. So you could, if you're catering for someone and it's a birthday, or you're catering for a special occasion, then you can put the person's name in there, a message. You can do a V on there, vegetarian or vegan, you know, and it just sort of makes it a little bit unique. And it's part of the forward planning that goes into your catering. Now, one last dish that I want to make for you today, and it really is a super quick dish. Definitely worth making, and these are some chocolate pots. Now, really is the quickest thing you're ever going to make, but you will need a food processor to do this, and it just makes it a little bit speedier. So this is a dessert which is high in protein because we're using tofu in there, and this is the silken tofu. So if you're not familiar with tofu, then this is a great place to start because you're making it nice and sweet. You can use all sorts of different types of tofu in this one, but the silken one does work very well. But don't use a flavoured tofu. So in we go with the silken tofu, and I've got some, you can put maple syrup in here if you want, and I've got some golden syrup, and it really is as easy as this. Splash of vanilla, and a little bit of cocoa powder, and all I'm going to do is to blend this up on my food processors. Now, I do apologise because I am going to make a little bit of noise. So screw the top on properly. Don't want to have another accident. So this is going to get blended up. So my apologies about any noise that this makes. If it's disturbing, just bear with me 1 second. Nearly finished. Yeah, one thing I did forget was to put some melted chocolate in. So take two. So I've melted some vegan chocolate, and I'm just going to add a dollop of melted vegan chocolate in there. So take two with that, and this is going to add extra richness to it. In we go. So about the noise. Right, we're done. No more noise. So I want to make this look nice and presentable. So we should be able to just pour this out. Now, if you put it in the fridge, it will set, but you won't be able to slice it. It's not that sort of setting. So there we go. Nice, lovely and silky. And we'll serve this with our individual biscuits, like so. Now we've got our little Veg Fest biscuits to go at the side, but of course you can put your own message on whatever you fancy. So if you want to think about this as a Christmas time or a birthday time, then do it that way. And just to finish off our chocolate pot, put a little bit of chocolate on the top, like so. And that's as easy as it is. Now you can eat this straight away, or you can pop it into the fridge and let it set. What I also do is to save my best chocolate and then just break a few pieces up around like so, and it becomes a bit of a a nice thing to have just before you dip into your chocolate pot. It's kind of get that sort of nice contrast of textures. Now then, I do want to just tell you about our catering training for older vegetarians and vegans. Now, this is just, it's only £25 per person. It really is quite inexpensive. And again, it's British Dietetic approved as well. Now it's 5 modules of 30 minutes, so 2.5 hours to do the maths altogether. And it looks at menu planning, nutrition, how to cook with meat substitutes, but also, what vegetarians and vegans want to eat. Now that, as a vegetarian or a vegan, that's a straightforward question. You know what you want to eat. But if you're a caterer and you're unfamiliar with catering for vegetarians or vegans, then it can be, well, where do you start? Well, I remember having lentils, I remember having a nut loaf, but would we need to go beyond that? So this is what this course is about. And it's got cookery demonstrations from myself and the team as well, so it's absolutely worth having a look at that. And you'll find more information about that on our website, so do have a look at that. But that's just a quick plug for that. So right then, let's look at our last part of our dish. We can bring our curry back, which is just about done. It's been bubbling away nicely in the background. Now we've got Chef Ollie coming on in a moment, but you can see, look at that lovely colour of that. We've got all the nice spices, the colour. We've got the great nutrition of the protein in here, and we can perhaps serve that with some spicy rice. I've got some I made just before coming on over here, and this has got peas and onions and spices and all sorts of lovely things in it, just to add that extra element of flavour. So just pop that there, and if we get our spoon, serve some of this lovely curry. Look at the colour on that, isn't that lovely? Just, it's just been simmering away in the background. So this is my lunch today, or maybe my tea tonight. The smell is I know I'm getting a bit steamy in here, but the smell of this curry really is absolutely delicious. And then a little spoon of vegan yogurt on the top, like so. It's not a spicy one, but it just helps to add a bit of contrast. And then we can pop some fresh coriander on the top, like so. And then we've got our chocolate pots for our dessert. So there we have it. A quick whiz around some nutrition. You can get lots of information if you have a visit to our website. We've got our nutritional guide on there, so do have a look at that. Lots of information on important elements of nutrition. We've got our catering guide, do have a look at that. And of course we've got our online training. We're also doing lots of specifically tailored online live cookery demonstrations. So if you want more information on that, then do get in touch. Now I'm going to say hello to Tim and bring Tim back. I think he's listening in the wings. There he is.
I was indeed, Alex. That's just wonderful. Very tasty. I like the look of that rice, actually. Very good looking taste. Yeah. And was there not a nice little biscuit with something on it?
Yes. I made these little biscuits. If I bring this forward.
Nice. A little bit of shared and love, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just little things like that just make all the difference. And in terms of time, as a caterer, it really is moments. But for a customer or the person that's receiving it, it's, if you had a biscuit that said Tim on it, you'd be back as a kid like, oh wow, this is my biscuit. It's lovely. It really is.
I can assure you, I'm pretty excited by watching VegFest on a biscuit there with the love heart. That is a lovely touch, and I think it does remind people about the beauty of food, about how food and plant-based food, as with all food, is very much more than just nutrition. There's a whole social context, there's a whole cultural context, there's a whole enjoyment, there's a sharing, And of course, in your case, the creation of it. My case, usually I'm the one who washes up afterwards. If I'm ever lucky enough to be invited to, but I think especially now in the care homes and the work you've done in the care homes, especially in the last year, it really helped people inspire, because I think food has been such a gathering point for people who've been quite isolated, especially. And, the work you've done, and I know you're part of a bigger team, and there's a thriving V for Life team that's been really quietly working away. And it's one of the really fundamental parts of the vegan movement that a lot of us don't talk about, shout about, or discuss or debate. But, it's essential work going on. It's the training for people to learn how to make really good plant-based food. As plant-based food is, of course, such a gateway to the whole vegan understanding. And it's just such a joy to watch you creating so many fantastic ones, Sir Alex. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thank you.